Hansol stared at his computer screen, his eyes burning from looking at it for too long. The clock on the wall showed 3 a.m., but he couldn't stop reading. After 15 years working in Earth's Interstellar Intelligence Division, he had finally found something big. "Chief Hansol, you're still here." Jaya's voice came from the doorway. She was holding 2 cups of coffee, and Hansol was grateful to see her. "Come look at this," he said, taking one of the cups. "I think I found a pattern." Jaya pulled up a chair next to him. The screen showed hundreds of alien messages, all collected over the past 50 years. These weren't just any messages. They were the last transmissions ever sent by fallen alien empires. "See this?" Hansol pointed to a line of text. This was the last message from the Myriad Collective before they disappeared. And this one, he moved his finger to another message, was from the Crystalline Alliance right before they fell. Jaya leaned closer, her eyes widening. "They're almost saying the same thing." "Exactly." Hansol opened more files. Every empire that attacked Earth sent similar final messages. They all basically say, "We should have left Earth alone." The archive room was huge, filled with servers storing alien transmissions collected by Earth's deep space arrays. Most people thought these servers just held boring alien chat logs and radio signals. But Hansol and Jaya knew better. They were looking at the last words of entire civilizations. "How many?" Jaya asked, pulling out her tablet to take notes. 7 major empires so far," Hansol said. He stood up and walked to the big screen on the wall, turning it on. A galaxy map appeared, showing the territories of fallen alien empires in red. All of them were huge. All of them attacked Earth. All of them are gone now. Jaya typed quickly on her tablet. "The Myriad Collective had 3,000 worlds before they attacked us. The Crystalline Alliance had even more. How did they all fall?" Hansol shook his head. "That's what's interesting. Each empire fell in a different way. Some had civil wars. Others faced economic collapse. A few just disappeared." He paused, looking at the map. "But they all started falling apart after they attacked Earth." "It can't be a coincidence," Jaya said. "No, it can't." Hansol sat back down at his computer. "I think humanity is more dangerous than anyone expected, not because we're stronger or more advanced, but because we're different." Jaya looked confused. "Different how?" Hansol opened another file. "Look at this report from the Nexus hunters before they fell. They say humans are frustratingly unpredictable. We don't follow the usual patterns. When they push us down, we don't just adapt. We come back stronger." The air felt heavy in the archive room. Both of them knew they were looking at something important. This wasn't just history, it was a warning. "We should tell the council," Jaya said, standing up. Hansol nodded. "We will. But first, I want to decode more of these messages. Each one tells part of the story. Together, they might show us how humanity went from being an easy target to the species that everyone fears." Jaya looked at the galaxy map again. The red areas covered almost a quarter of the known galaxy, all empires that had fallen after challenging Earth. 7 empires, she whispered. 7 different ways of falling, but all because they made the same mistake. Hansol took another sip of his coffee. "And somewhere in these archives, we'll find out exactly how it happened. Every transmission, every report, every last desperate message. They're all pieces of the puzzle." The night grew older as they worked, digging through the archives. Outside their window, Earth's orbital defense platforms glowed softly against the stars. The same defenses that had grown stronger with each attack, built from the lessons learned from every fallen empire. And in the quiet of the archive room, Hansol and Jaya began to piece together humanity's rise to power, one fallen empire at a time. Commander Taiwan watched from the bridge of his ship as the alien fleet appeared above Earth. It was 2157, and humanity was about to fight its first space battle. His hands were steady on the controls, but his heart was beating fast. The myriad collected ships were beautiful and scary at the same time. They looked like giant silver snowflakes, each one bigger than the biggest city on Earth. There were hundreds of them. "They're broadcasting something," his communications officer said. The message played through the ship's speakers. "Primitive species of Earth, surrender now. Your planet is now part of the Myriad Collective." Taiwan smiled a little. The aliens thought Earth would be easy to conquer. They didn't know about the secret weapons Earth had been building ever since they detected the alien fleet 6 months ago. "Send our answer," Taiwan ordered. He had practiced these words many times. "This is Earth. We choose to fight." The alien ships started moving closer. They were confident, not even trying to hide their movements. Why should they? They had conquered 1,000 worlds before Earth. Their weapons could destroy entire continents. But Earth had a surprise waiting. "Launch the drones," Taiwan commanded. Thousands of small black dots flew out from Earth's orbit. They looked tiny compared to the alien ships. The Myriad Collective probably thought they were missiles or simple fighters. They were wrong. These drones were special. Earth's scientists had studied alien signals for years. They knew the aliens used complex energy shields to protect their ships. But these shields had one weakness. They couldn't stop things moving very, very slowly. The drones moved slowly toward the alien fleet. The collected ships fired their weapons, but most of the drones were so small and slow that their targeting systems ignored them. "They're laughing at us," Taiwan's second-in-command said, listening to the alien communications. "They think our weapons are primitive." "Good," Taiwan replied. "Let them laugh." The drones got closer and closer to the alien ships. Then, when they were almost touching the energy shields, they did something unexpected. They split apart into millions of even smaller pieces, each one barely bigger than a grain of sand. These tiny pieces moved so slowly that they drifted right through the alien shields. Then, following their programming, they attached themselves to the alien ships' hulls. The Myriad Collective didn't even notice at first. They were too busy preparing their big weapons, ready to destroy Earth's major cities. "Send the signal," Taiwan ordered. A simple radio wave went out from Earth. When it reached the tiny pieces attached to the alien ships, they all activated at once. Each piece was actually a tiny computer, and together they started talking to the alien ship's computers. The giant silver snowflakes started to drift. Their lights flickered. Their weapons powered down. "What's happening?" The alien commander demanded over the open channel. "Why aren't our ships responding?" Taiwan picked up his microphone. "Your ships belong to us now," he said simply. "Your computers are under our control. Please power down your engines and prepare to be boarded." The Myriad Collective had never seen anything like this. They had expected missiles and energy weapons. Instead, Earth had used simple machines and clever programming to take over their entire fleet. "This is impossible," the alien commander shouted. "You're a primitive species." "No," Taiwan replied. "We're human, and you made a big mistake attacking us." In the next few hours, Earth's ships moved in and captured the alien fleet. The Myriad Collective's first attack force surrendered completely. Their final message to their homeworlds was simple: "The humans are not what we thought. We should have left Earth alone." Years later, when Hansol and Jaya would read this report in the archives, they would mark it as the beginning. This was when the galaxy learned its first lesson about humanity. Never judge them by their technology level. Humans didn't just use technology, they outsmarted it. The Myriad Collective would try to attack Earth 2 more times before their empire fell apart. But they never again underestimated the humans who had defeated their best fleet with what looked like grains of sand. Du Yun sat in the darkness of his listening post on Europa, Jupiter's icy moon. The only light came from his screens, showing streams of alien signals from deep space. As a space intelligence officer, his job was to catch and decode these messages. Today, he had found something big. The Crystalline Alliance, one of the oldest alien empires, was having a secret meeting. They didn't know that humans could understand their signals. They thought their language was too complex for primitive Earth minds. They were wrong. Du Yun adjusted his headphones and started recording. The Alliance leaders were arguing about Earth. The humans defeated the Myriad Collective. One voice said, "They must be stopped before they grow stronger." "But how?" Another asked. "They don't fight like normal species. We can't predict them." Du Yun smiled as he listened. The aliens still didn't understand. Humans had hidden listening posts like his all over the solar system. While the aliens talked about attacking Earth, Earth was hearing every word. He pressed a button, sending the recording to Earth's defense command. Then he saw something new on his screen. More signals, coming from different parts of space. The Crystalline Alliance was gathering its fleet. "This is Listening Post Europa," he said into his microphone. "They're coming. The Alliance has ordered its ships to attack." But Earth was ready. They had been ready since they first cracked the Alliance's codes 3 months ago. Du Yun watched his secondary screen, which showed Earth's defense grid powering up. Special satellites moved into new positions, looking like pieces of space junk, but actually carrying powerful weapons. The Alliance ships appeared 2 days later. They were beautiful, like floating cities made of crystal and light. Their weapons could crack planets. Their shields were supposed to be unbreakable. "Your species will join the Alliance," they broadcast to Earth. "Resist, and we will destroy you." Earth's response was silence. The Alliance commanders were confused. They expected Earth to either surrender or fight back. Instead, nothing happened. "What are they doing?" One commander asked in a message Du Yun intercepted. "Why don't they respond?" Then Earth showed its hand. Every piece of space junk near the Alliance fleet suddenly came alive. They weren't junk. They were small, heavily armed ships that had been waiting in disguise. The Alliance fleet panicked. They had spent days scanning for Earth's defense fleet, but they never thought to look at the debris floating around them. "Impossible." An Alliance captain shouted over their comm channel. Their ships were there the whole time. The battle was short. Earth's ships were already in perfect attack positions. The Alliance fleet didn't stand a chance. As Du Yun listened to their surrender messages, he noticed something interesting. The Alliance commanders weren't just surprised. They were scared, not of Earth's weapons, but of how humans thought. "They hide in plain sight," one commander said in his final report. "They let us think we were in control. We should have left Earth alone." Later that day, Du Yun sent his full report to the archives, where Han Sol and Jaya would find it years later. He added his own note at the end. "The Crystalline Alliance fell because they didn't understand human patience. They thought we would either attack or give up. They never considered that we might just wait and watch." Their empire started falling apart 6 months later. Some say it was because they spent too much money building weapons to fight Earth. Others say they became paranoid, seeing human spies everywhere. "The truth is simpler," Du Yun wrote. "They couldn't handle knowing that humans were always one step ahead of them. Every time they made a secret plan, they later found out Earth had known about it all along. In the end, their empire didn't fall to Earth's weapons. It fell because they could never feel safe again." In his listening post on Europa, Du Yun went back to watching his screens. Somewhere out there, other alien empires were making plans about Earth, and he would be listening, ready to send warnings back home, keeping Earth one step ahead of its enemies. Dr. Sun Mai walked through her lab, looking at the alien weapons spread across the tables. Each one came from the ships Earth had captured. Some were from the Myriad Collective, others from the Crystalline Alliance. All of them were supposed to be too advanced for humans to understand. "Try it now," she said to her team. They had been working on one gun for 3 months. It was a strange weapon that shot beams of frozen time, stopping anything it hit. The aliens thought humans would never figure out how it worked. The test engineer pointed the modified gun at a target. He pulled the trigger. The beam that came out wasn't just a time freeze ray anymore. It now could also reverse time for whatever it hit. Sun Mi smiled. "Perfect," she said, writing notes on her tablet. "We didn't just copy their technology. We made it better." This was what made humans different. Other species would steal technology and just copy it. Humans looked at alien tech and thought, "How can we improve this?" Her phone buzzed. There was another alien fleet coming to attack Earth. This one belonged to the Star Runners, famous for their super-fast ships that could jump through space. "Bring me their speed technology when we capture them," she told her team. "I have some ideas about that." 3 days later, after Earth's forces defeated the Star Runners, Sun Mi got her wish. Their ship's engines were brought to her lab. The aliens had said humans were too primitive to understand their space jump technology. But Sun Mi had a secret. She didn't try to understand how the alien tech worked at first. Instead, she looked for what it couldn't do. Every technology had limits. Finding these limits was the key to making the technology better. "Look here," she said to her team, pointing at the Star Runner engine. "They can jump through space, but they can only go forward." They never thought about going sideways through space. "What if we tried that?" Her team worked day and night. They took apart the alien engines and rebuilt them with new parts. Other scientists said it was impossible. The aliens said humans weren't ready for this technology. Sun Mi proved them all wrong. 1 month later, they tested the first human-modified space jump engine. The test ship didn't just jump forward through space like alien ships. It could jump in any direction, even making turns mid-jump. "Send the test results to Defense Command," Sun Mi ordered. "Tell them we're ready to upgrade our whole fleet." The Star Runners attacked Earth again 2 weeks later. They thought their speed would give them the advantage. Instead, they found Earth's ships could now jump through space better than theirs could. "How did they improve our technology so quickly?" A Star Runner captain asked in his last message. "It took us 1,000 years to develop these engines." That was the difference. Alien empires spent centuries slowly improving their technology. Humans took their tech and made it better in weeks. While aliens carefully followed their scientific traditions, humans tried crazy new ideas just to see if they would work. Sun Mi kept the Star Runner captain's message. Later, it would join the archives that Han Sol and Jaya studied. She added her own notes. "The aliens think technology has to develop in a certain order. First, you make fire, then wheels, then engines, then spaceships. They don't understand that humans don't follow orders. We see a spaceship and think, why can't this also be a submarine? We take weapons that freeze time and wonder, what if it could reverse time too?" In her lab, Sun Mi looked at her next project. It was a piece of alien armor that could stop any weapon. By next week, she planned to make it also heal its wearer. "The aliens keep saying we're not ready for their technology," she wrote in her final note. "They don't understand that their technology isn't ready for us." Intelligence agent Hyunwoo sat in his small office, reading through the files taken from the Nexus Hunters' main computer. The Hunters were the oldest alien empire humans had ever met. They had spent 20,000 years conquering primitive worlds. Now they wanted to add Earth to their collection. "Let's see how they plan to attack us," Hyunwoo said to himself, opening another file. What he found made him laugh. The Hunters had studied Earth for 5 years, but they got everything wrong. They thought humans were simple because Earth had only been in space for a short time. The Hunters' report said, "Humans follow the same pattern as all young species. They will surrender when they see our big ships. If they fight, they will use simple weapons. They cannot surprise us." Hyunwoo sent a message to Earth's Defense Command. "The Hunters think we're predictable. We can use that." 3 days later, the Hunters attacked Earth. Their ships were ancient and powerful, painted with the symbols of all the worlds they had conquered. They expected Earth to be just another easy victory. They sent their usual message: "Bow to the Nexus Hunters or be destroyed. We have conquered 10,000 worlds. You cannot win." Earth's response surprised them. Instead of fighting or surrendering, every human ship near Earth suddenly disappeared. Where did they go? The hunter commander demanded. Scan everything. But their scans showed nothing. It was like humanity had just vanished. The hunters had never seen this before. Usually, primitive species either fought back or gave up. Perhaps they ran away, one hunter said. Let's take their planet. That was their big mistake. The human ships hadn't gone far. They were hiding in a clever way. Dr. Sunmi's team had found a way to bend light around Earth's ships, making them invisible. They were still there, silently moving into position around the hunter fleet. Hyunwoo watched from his office as the trap was sprung. The hunter ships suddenly found themselves surrounded by Earth's entire fleet, appearing out of nowhere like ghosts. Impossible. The hunter commander shouted. Primitive species can't have invisibility technology. We're not primitive, Earth's admiral responded. We're just different. The battle was over quickly. The hunters didn't know how to fight an enemy they couldn't see properly. Their ancient weapons were powerful but slow. Earth's ships could disappear and reappear anywhere around them, shooting from unexpected directions. Later, Hyunwoo found the hunters' final message to their homeworld. It was different from their usual confident reports. The humans tricked us. We thought they were primitive because they were young. We were wrong. They are young but clever. They learn too fast. They don't follow the normal rules of progress. We should have left Earth alone. The Nexus hunters had ruled space for 20,000 years, but they fell apart just 6 months after attacking Earth. Their conquered world saw that the mighty hunters could be defeated and rebelled. The Hunter Empire collapsed as thousands of worlds fought for freedom. Hyunwoo wrote his own report for the archives. The hunters failed because they could only see one way of doing things. They thought all species had to follow the same steps. First primitive weapons, then space travel, then advanced technology. They didn't understand that humans skip steps. We see what we want and find new ways to get it. They called us primitive because we were young, he continued. They didn't realize that being young made us stronger. We weren't stuck in old ways of thinking. Every time they thought they knew what we would do, we did something new instead. In his office, Hyunwoo added one last note. The hunters spent 20,000 years conquering worlds. It took them that long to learn what humans figured out in our first century in space. The most dangerous thing you can do is think you know everything about your enemy. Senior analyst Minji found the first warning message by accident. She was searching through old alien radio signals when she found something strange. One alien empire was warning another about Earth. Do not attack the humans, the message said. They are more dangerous than they look. The Myriad Collective tried to conquer them. Now the collective is gone. Minji dug deeper into the archives. She found more warnings sent between different alien empires. Each one told stories about Earth's unexpected strength. Their ships can vanish from sight, one message said. They took our best technology and made it better. Stay away from Earth. But some aliens didn't listen. They thought the warnings were lies or exaggerations. The pattern makers were one of these empires. They had ruled their part of space for 5,000 years. These warnings are foolish, the pattern makers' leader said in a message Minji found. Earth is young. They have only been in space for a few human lifetimes. They cannot be that dangerous. Minji sent an urgent message to Earth's Defense Command. The pattern makers are coming, she wrote. They ignored all the warnings about us. The pattern makers attacked a month later. Their ships were works of art, covered in complex patterns that could hypnotize other species. This trick had helped them win many wars. But humans had learned about this weapon from the warning messages. When the pattern makers arrived, Earth's ships already had special screens that blocked the hypnotic patterns. Why aren't they looking at our ships? A pattern maker commander asked in confusion. Why aren't they falling under our control? The pattern makers had a second surprise waiting. They thought their computer systems were safe because they used art to store information. Instead of numbers and codes, they used beautiful patterns. No other species had ever decoded them. But they didn't know that Minji and her team had already cracked their system. While studying the warning messages, they had learned how the pattern maker's art language worked. Now they could read every message, every command, and every plan. Their ships are targeting our command center, Minji reported, reading the pattern maker's battle plans. They think we can't understand their orders. Earth's ships moved first, hitting the pattern makers exactly where they didn't expect. The battle lasted only 2 hours. The pattern makers surrendered, their beautiful ships now dark and quiet in Earth's orbit. Minji found their final transmission to their homeworld. Like the others before them, it was a warning. The rumors were true. Earth is different. They knew all our secrets before we attacked. They learned from every empire that fought them before. We should have listened to the warnings. We should have left Earth alone. The pattern maker's empire fell apart in a strange way. Their art-based technology, which had made them special for thousands of years, stopped working. Other species had learned from Earth how to block the hypnotic patterns. Without their main advantage, the pattern makers couldn't keep control of their worlds. Minji wrote everything down for the archives. Later, Hansol and Jaya would study her notes to understand how Earth gained its fearsome reputation. The pattern makers failed because they were proud, she wrote. They heard the warnings but didn't believe them. They thought their way was the only way. They couldn't imagine that humans would find a way around their art technology. In her office, Minji looked at her collection of alien warning messages. Each one told the same story. Earth was different. Earth was dangerous. Earth should be left alone. The warning messages keep spreading, she wrote in her final note. But some empires still don't listen. They think they're special, that they'll be the ones to finally conquer Earth. They all learn the same lesson in the end. The only question is how much they lose before they learn it. Fleet Commander Jae Young stood on the bridge of Earth's newest ship, the Adaptable. The name was perfect. The ship could change its shape and purpose during battle. 1 minute it was a fast attack ship. The next it was a heavy battleship. The aliens had never seen anything like it. "Commander, we found something interesting," her science officer said. "We captured an alien research file about humans. You should read it." The file was from the Dream Shapers, the latest empire to challenge Earth. They had spent years studying humans, trying to understand why other empires had failed to conquer Earth. Jae Young read the file out loud to her crew. Humans are impossible to predict. When blocked, they find new paths. When hurt, they come back stronger. They do not think like normal species. She smiled. The aliens still didn't get it. They think we're special, she told her crew. But we're just survivors. We adapt because we have to. The Dream Shapers were coming to attack Earth. They thought they had finally figured out how to be humans. Their ships could create illusions, making their fleet look bigger than it was. "Let them come," Jae Young said. "They'll learn what every other empire learned. Humans don't just adapt, we change the rules of the game." When the Dream Shapers arrived, they found Earth's ships waiting. The aliens started their illusion attack, making it look like they had thousands of ships instead of hundreds. "Impressive light show," Jae Young said to her crew. "But we don't fight with our eyes anymore." She pressed a button on her command chair. The Adaptable and all of Earth's ships switched to their new sensor system. Dr. Sun Mi's team had created it after studying alien technology. It didn't look for ships. It looked for the energy they used. The illusions disappeared from their screens. Now they could see the real alien fleet, much smaller than it pretended to be. "How?" the Dream Shaper commander demanded when his illusions failed. "How did you know?" "Because we learned," Jae Young answered. "Every empire that attacked us taught us something new. The Myriad Collective taught us about energy shields. The pattern makers taught us about hidden messages. Even your illusions taught us to look deeper than what our eyes can see." The battle that followed was short. The Dream Shapers had depended too much on their illusions. Without them, they didn't know how to fight. Earth's ships, led by the Adaptable, changed tactics faster than the aliens could respond. Later, Jay Young found the Dream Shaper's study of humans in their captured computers. She sent it to the archives for Hansol and Jayat to find. The last part was interesting. Humans are dangerous because they never stop changing. Other species pick one way of fighting and stick to it. Humans try new things all the time. If something doesn't work, they try something else. If something does work, they still try to make it better. Jay Young added her own notes. The aliens think this makes us special or strange. They don't understand that this is just what humans do. We face problems and find solutions. We fail and learn. We succeed and still try to improve. On the Adaptable's bridge, Jay Young watched her crew working. Each person was different, thinking in their own way. That was humanity's real strength. They didn't all think alike or follow the same path. The Dream Shapers felt like all the others, she wrote in her final report. Not because humans are stronger or smarter. We won because we're not afraid to change. The aliens see change as dangerous. We see it as necessary. That's why they'd fall. And we survive. Her last note was simple. They call us unpredictable. We call it being human. Captain Yunho watched his screen as the biggest alien fleet ever seen approach Earth. The coalition of advanced worlds had united 50 alien empires together. They thought that if they all attacked at once, they could finally defeat humanity. They'd brought everything they have, his second-in-command said. Over 10,000 ships. Yunho nodded calmly. And we have only 1,000 ships. They think numbers will win this fight. Earth had known this attack was coming. Their spies had heard the coalition's plans months ago. While the aliens gathered their fleet, Earth had prepared a special welcome for them. All ships, report in, Yunho called. One by one, Earth's ships answered. Each one was different, carrying technologies learned from past battles. Some could vanish like ghost ships. Others could jump through space in impossible ways. All of them had surprises waiting. The coalition's message boomed across space. Surrender now, Earth. You cannot fight all of us. This is your last chance. Yunho opened a channel to respond. Coalition fleet, this is Earth. We've heard those words before. Every empire that said them is gone now. This is your last chance to leave. The aliens attacked first, just as Yunho expected. Their huge fleet moved forward like a wall of metal and energy. They thought their combined power would overwhelm Earth's defenses. They're using all their best weapons, Yunho noted. Time freeze beams from the Myriad Collective. Pattern maker hypnotic signals. Dream shaper illusions. Everything we've seen before. His crew looked nervous. Even with all Earth's advanced ships, the alien fleet was enormous. But Yunho smiled. Start the music, he ordered. Every Earth ship began broadcasting a simple sound. To humans, it was just a low hum. But to the aliens, it was something else entirely. The sound waves interfered with their technology in ways they never expected. The coalition ships started having problems. Their time freeze beams wouldn't fire. Their hypnotic patterns became jumbled. Their illusions flickered and died. What's happening? A coalition commander demanded. Why aren't our weapons working? Because we learned from every battle, Yunho answered. Every empire that attacked us taught us how to beat their weapons. Now we can stop all of them at once. Earth's ships moved in. They were outnumbered, but each human ship could fight in ways the aliens had never seen. They combined different alien technologies in new ways, creating weapons and defenses that shouldn't have been possible. The battle lasted for 3 days. The coalition's huge fleet tried everything they knew, but they couldn't adapt fast enough. Their ships could only fight one way, while Earth's ships kept changing tactics. Impossible, the coalition leaders said as their fleet fell apart. How can they beat all our best weapons? Because you gave us those weapons, Yunho replied. Every time you attacked Earth, we grew stronger. We learned your technologies. We improved them. We combined them in ways you never imagined. The coalition fleet retreated in defeat. It was the last time any major alien force would attack Earth. Their final message became famous across the galaxy. We had 50 empires, 10,000 ships, all our best technology. But the humans used our own weapons against us. They turned our strength into weakness. We should have listened to the warnings. We should have left Earth alone. Later, when Hansol and Jaya found the battle records, they would mark this as the day Earth became the strongest force in the galaxy. Not because they had the biggest fleet or the most advanced technology, but because they had learned from every battle, every defeat, and every victory. Yunho's final report summed it up perfectly. The coalition failed because they thought power comes from having the most ships or the best weapons. They didn't understand that real power comes from learning and adapting. They brought everything they had to this battle. We brought everything we learned from all the battles before. That's why we won. That's why we'll keep winning. Hansol looked up from his computer screen, his eyes tired but satisfied. After months of work, he and Jedi had finally finished studying all the records of Earth's battles. The pattern they found was clear. Every empire that attacked Earth had sent the same final message. We should have left Earth alone. It's done, Jaya said, putting the last file into the archive. We've recorded everything from the first attack to the coalition's defeat. The archive room felt different now. The servers holding all those alien messages weren't just storing history anymore. They were telling humanity's story, how a young species became the most powerful force in the galaxy. You know what's interesting? Hansol said, standing up to stretch. None of the aliens ever really understood us. Even after we beat them, they thought we were special or strange. Jaya nodded. They kept looking for some secret weapon or special ability. They never realized that being human was our real strength. Together, they walked to the big screen showing the galaxy map. The territories of fallen empires covered almost half the galaxy now. But Earth wasn't interested in taking over these empty spaces. Instead, they helped the freed worlds build their own governments. 7 major empires, Hansol said, counting them off. The Myriad Collective, who thought we were primitive. The Crystalline Alliance, who couldn't handle our patience. The Star Runners, whose technology we improved. The Nexus Hunters, who couldn't understand our young thinking. The Pattern Makers, who ignored the warnings. The Dream Shapers, who couldn't predict us. And finally, the Coalition, who learned too late that numbers don't win wars. And now, Jaya asked, looking at the latest reports, what are the aliens doing? Hansol smiled. Now they study us. They try to understand how we think. Some of them are even starting to copy our ways. They're learning that change isn't bad, that trying new things isn't dangerous. A message flashed on their screen. Another alien transmission had been caught. But this one was different from the warnings and threats they used to receive. It was a request for learning exchange. Some alien worlds wanted to know if Earth would teach them. That's new, Jaya said, reading the message. They want to learn from us instead of fighting us. Because they finally understand, Hansol replied. We were never the strongest or the most advanced. We just never stopped learning. Every defeat taught us something. Every victory made us think of new ways to improve. He walked to the archive's main computer and started typing his final report. It would be the last entry in their study of Earth's rise to power. The aliens thought Earth was special because we could do impossible things. They were wrong. We weren't special. We were just human. We faced problems and found solutions. We lost battles but learned from them. We won victories but kept looking for better ways. When they attacked us with time-freeze beams, we made time-reverse beams. When they used hypnotic patterns, we learned to see differently. When they created illusions, we found new ways to look at reality. We didn't do these things because we were special. We did them because that's what humans do. We adapt, we learn, we grow. Jaya added her own note at the end. Now the galaxy knows what human really means. It doesn't mean having the biggest fleet or the best weapons. It means never stopping, never settling, always learning, always trying to be better. Han Solo looked at their completed work. The archive would stand as both a warning and a lesson. A warning to any empire that might think of attacking Earth, and a lesson about what makes humans different. Not their weapons or technology, but their spirit. The aliens were right about one thing, he said, saving the final file. They really should have left Earth alone. But we're glad they didn't. Each one that attacked us made us stronger, smarter, better. Now we can help make the whole galaxy better too. And in the quiet of the archive room, surrounded by the stories of fallen empires and humanity's rise, Han Solo and Jaya knew they had recorded something important, not just how humanity survived, but how they changed the galaxy forever.